machine rising from the shadow. Through the dust, burst through the crust. The Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Crash through the crust. The Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Honorable battle brothers. Steel shell in the red haze light, born for battle in the endless night. The claw from the pits of seas, broken skin with fire in their eyes and the will to win. The machine guns roar, the pincers flare, missiles scream through the toxic air. Program 8 in a silent horde, marching strong for the Empire's Lord. Honorable battle brothers, the Molga strike like thunder from below. Caterpillar killers in the burning tank of blow. They roll in waves, no fear, no soul. Kettles Empire's iron control. Molgas march where the brave won't go. Battles from beneath the sonic overload. From these black hole we rise to own the battlefield, the throne, the world our zone. Through the lights of hellic fools, heroes crumble when we break the rules. Their god will scream in electric pain, but Molgas claw up the fire and rain. Back step on base, ready to burn. We light the skies, there's no return. The planet cracks with every beat to the rhythm of a woman shines. Eight honorable battle brothers. From below, no retreat, just fire and shadow flow. Through broken lands and burning steel, Kylo's vengeance is real, it's real. Molgas rip through the auto stream, shatter the line with a sonic scream. From these cuts of ground we take the night, Molgas straight with ruthless light. Molgas rise, God will sky, Kylo's empire rolls on high. Honorable battle brothers. Honorable battle brothers. Anthemic, Anthemic. We've been bigger. Molgas are coming to the burgers. Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Molgas are coming and nothing will last. The Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Molgas are coming, the Molgas are coast. For overboarded, the Molgas are coming. Molgas are come, the Molgas are coast. The Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Molgas are coming, the Molgas are coast. For overboarded, the Molgas are coming. Molgas are come, the Molgas are coast. The Molgas are coming and nothing will last. Yeah. The Molgas are coming. Will the battle brothers. The Molgas are coming. The Molgas are coming. Even the dust. Dust. Years of fire crack the moon. Planets burns, a storm returns. Ash. This is the second war. From the ruins of Zeniba's cries to the wasteland under shattered skies, a kingdom fell, a moon was torn. Now Kylo strikes with blades reborn. Caterpillar tracks and crimson dust. Molga drills, Iguan's thrust. Marching steel and conquest screams. They ride the rust of broken dreams. Other planets are back into the flames. The sky is burning with forgotten names. Until it's unleashed, mechanized warlust. Chorus grows and red hearts crush. No surrender, no retreat. The Republic roars from every street. This is a second strike, Planet Z ignites. Iron calms, the Titan stands, smashing hopes with burning hands. While from the clouds, with vengeance raw, Salamander spreads the law. Down with fury, thunder, wing. The terrorists rise, the air they sing. Godulous walk, SUBTITLES, all stand tall. We rise, brother, we burn, we answer the call. This is the second strike. The skies explode with Zoid war might. Slave. Every cockpit knows the name of freedom's roar and empire's pain. The war begins again, again. This war's our legacy, brother, our rage. The future's written in rockets and roars. Through empires crash in thunder wars. This is the second strike, and Planet T will never be the same. Never die, they just rule. Now confident, no return. No peace was won, the coffin of no return. Up from the clouds with vengeance raw, Salamander spreads the law. Talon, fury, thundering, the terrorists rise, the air they sing. Our duos walk, the ground does scream, the final war of metal dreams.
Metallic giants rise from lying grounds. Blue guardians down the heart. Lights and fury in the sky.